Hello, and today we are at our latest property we have literally just purchased, and my wonderful business partner Dan is inside now, getting it all ripped out. We've got all this here that we've just ripped out of the property. So we're going to be putting a new kitchen in this, repainting the whole thing, and just giving it a little bit of love as it needs it. Now, this property was actually bought with none of our own money. So, yes, it can happen. So, 100% of the deposit of this property was bought with an investor's money, and me and my business partner Dan just paid for the stamp duty and we're paying for the refurb. So, anyone that says you can't buy a property with your own money, this is not quite true, as it is possible. I'm not saying it's easy, but people just have to know, like, and most importantly, trust you. So we're going to go through now and we're going to give you a tour of where we're at, and then in about 3 weeks time hopefully we're going to come back and see where we have progressed to. So come on through. So we're going to keep the outside pretty much the same, as it's all not too bad. We're probably going to keep this door as quite like the light green actually, so that's all right. So we're going to come on through. It's a little bit of a mess so far. So, oh, how do we even get the lights going on here? Here we go. Is this lights? Are these lights off here? Oh, okay. So come on in. It's a little bit dark. We have the lovely Dan Brown in the bath. This bathroom is actually pretty decent, but if we can see here, this is a little bit corroded. So we're just going to try and fix this, make it look a little smarter. But that's pretty much it for the bathroom. So we're going to go through to the next bit now. As you can see, the hallway, we've had this horrible chip wallpaper on here. It looked terrible. So we are taking all of that off. We're going to repaint all this. We're actually going to spray the most of this property, as Dan really likes his sprayer, as he does it in half the time. And then we're just going to be painting some of the bits we need to paint in terms of the woodwork. So we're going to come through here. You can see once again we've had to strip all this down. Dan's been hard at work taking all this off. And we are into the lounge. It's a bit of a state right now. Everything's been ripped out. So we are going to be painting this little dark wooden piece of the stairs. We're going to paint all this white and just make it a little brighter, a little bit more neutral. So we've actually got paper on this wall, but we're going to keep this paper and we're literally just going to paint over it just because it's gone a bit dull over the years. And we feel like that's going to speed things up just a little bit. The main bit of work is actually in the kitchen, and we decided we weren't going to save the kitchen, so we've completely ripped everything out here. Now I do have to be careful, as Dan's foot did actually go through the kitchen floor, so we've had to replace the whole floor. So we're coming in. Now we're just drying it all out at the moment, as it's all been completely plastered. And I think this is where Dan's foot went down the floor here, which wasn't so good, but luckily he was all right. So we're just replastering it all. We're just getting the guys coming from Howden's tomorrow to just whack in a nice neutral kitchen. We'll let you know on how much all this costs. And yeah, it's definitely needed to be done. We had an old boiler here, which has now been ripped out. You can see this sort of old-fashioned cooker as well. It's not really up to today's standards. So this would actually be the main bit of this project in terms money-wise and time-wise, but it's going to be worth it once it's done. So we're going to go on the move now. So we are actually going to keep these lights here and here, as we haven't got any actually on the ceiling, just because the amount of time it's going to take us to put the electrics all over. We then have to replaster all the ceiling. It's not ideal, but sometimes you have to work with what you got, and we want to get this let out as quickly as possible. So we just bought some extra bright lights that are going to pump out some light, so hopefully we don't have to do that job. So coming through to here, this is our sort of lounge area. I suppose the other bit would be your lounge or dining area. And we've actually got a very, very long garden on this one. It goes right the way down here. I think it's like 100 and something foot. Yeah, it's very nice. We will go out and have a little look on there in a minute. But we actually had a real nightmare with this property because there's a little piece of land here, literally this big, which was in dispute. And we almost lost the property. over it. So we actually had to sort of write off that we don't have anything to do with that piece of land in order to buy this property. Otherwise, it was a case of losing the deal. And I got a fantastic deal on this one. So I was happy to write off a piece of land this size, which was value-wise is absolutely nothing. First time I've ever had to do that. So this is a little issue sometimes you can come up to in properties, but you just got to work around these things. Where there is a will, there is always a way. So we're going to go upstairs now. And once again, we're just going to be painting all of this white, obviously recarpeting everything throughout. It's very dark in here, actually. Don't know if the lights are all off or not for the electrics. But, yeah. So this is actually the main bedroom. So we are going to be repainting everything in here. We've already had a little mist coat going on here. With the wardrobe again, we're going to be painting all of this and just changing these knobs to nice silver chrome ones instead, as it just livens it up a little bit, as the gold ones are a little bit out of date now. And yeah, just changing this rail just for a nice silver one with nice neutral curtains as well for that. The windows actually, they are double glazed, so not too bad. So we're going to keep those in here, and we're just going to paint this radiator. Obviously, this carpet has definitely seen better days. I think we have about 3 different carpets here, which isn't ideal, not standard, but sometimes you just got to, if it's all coming out, it doesn't really matter to us anyway. And once we get our nice mottled grey ones in, it's going to be looking beautiful. So we're going to go to the next room now. So this property is actually a 4-bedroom detached property in Addlestone. No, the lights are definitely off. So this is our 2nd bedroom. Once again, we're just going to be painting the whole thing white. I think we have one coat in here, possibly. So yeah, it's already actually looking a little bit brighter now, as we are 2 days into the refurbishment now. We have our boiler actually in the bedroom, which is never ideal, but it is a Worcester boiler, which I actually really like these boilers. I spoke about this on a previous YouTube video, as they just last the test of time. We have had a quote to get it moved downstairs, as I always prefer to have boilers actually in a kitchen rather than a bedroom, just because it can be dangerous, obviously, if it leaks. But it was £2,000 to do it, so we've decided to keep it actually up in the bedroom. Obviously, we get a CO2 alarm, just to make sure that any tenant is safe in there as well. But pretty happy with the boiler, as that saved us £2,500 of getting a new one, because there was 2 boilers here, one which was redundant in the kitchen. So we're going to go through now into our next room. Once again, all this is coming off. We're going to take this off and yeah, give it a good paint over. We have to plaster this ceiling as well, as it's a little bit of dot and dab ceiling and is looking very, very dated now. So into probably the 2nd largest bedroom, I'd say. Unfortunately, it's got this awful sort of chip paper on it again here, which we are going to take off, and then we're going to have it resprayed. Actually, these bits aren't too bad. We might even keep these if they're not too bad. But yeah, this has had a big old wardrobe in it, so we've just taken this down now, as it just makes the room feel a lot bigger without that being in here. We'll probably change that light as well at some point. So yeah, this is the sort of 2nd or 3rd bedroom. The next bedroom, I'm not gonna lie, you can barely call it a bedroom, because you can't swing a cat in this one, as it's absolutely tiny. But we had this cupboard here, we've still got this cupboard here, and we had one underneath this as well. So we're knocking all of this out, as it just took up so much room. You could get a small single bed in here for a child if all this was knocked out. Otherwise, it was only ever going to be a study. So we wanted the option, if we have like a larger family rent this property, that they could have it as a kid's bedroom. So we decided to knock it all out. Once again, we're going to replaster the whole of this ceiling, as it's that sort of dot and dab ceiling, and we've just taken off all the chipboard, and we're going to have the whole thing repainted. We'll obviously change the light It's double glazed though, which is handy, and we'll just change the light fitting just to a nice sort of silvery chrome one, as I don't like these sort of basic ones here. So let's go out to the garden and see what we've got there. And do you know, I can actually see this little piece of land. I've not even actually seen it with my own eyes, I've only seen it on the map, so we can see if we can locate it. So let's do it. So, yeah, I think, no, it's not this bit. There's a little section down here somewhere, halfway down the garden, which was the dispute bit. So it's actually, like I say, it's a very lovely long garden, this. Nice bit to sit out in. And it goes right the way down the back, and at the back we actually got a railway track, which isn't ideal, but not the end of the world. And it definitely, we need to give this a little bit of love. We have our great worker Adam, who's going to be knocking down this shed, as it is, as you can see, looks like it's something out of World War II that's been bombed. So that definitely needs some love. And do you know what, I still can't, I think it might even be this little section here where this sort of shed is on the next bit. There's like a little corner piece, that might be the bit that we've lost, and I don't really care, as it's worth nothing. As we come over here, we can see our second beautiful shed. Wow, does anyone want to buy a shed? We'll sell it for £100. This one, unfortunately, yes, once again, has seen its day. The roof has come in, so our wonderful Adam is going to knock that down and get rid of that for us. And once we can get rid of this and sort of clear it up a little bit, get rid of all these branches, it's going to seem so much bigger. So this is where we begin. In 3 weeks' time, we will see where we end. Thanks for watching, and I'll link in the next video either on with this one or in a separate video. See you next week, guys.